I want to tell you about Daniel. Daniel is 38 years old. He leaves home at 6:47 every morning. He sits in traffic for 40 minutes. He walks into a building that does not belong to him, sits at a desk that does not belong to him, does work that does not light anything inside him, and at 5:30 every evening, he drives home in silence. No music, no conversation, just silence. And if you ask Daniel today, are you happy? He would look at you, pause for just a second too long and say, I'm doing fine. But Daniel is not fine. And if you're honest with yourself this morning, some part of you just recognize Daniel. Here's something I need you to write down. According to Gallup's State of the Global Workplace Report, 77% of workers worldwide are disengaged from their jobs. Source, Gallup State of the Global Workplace, 2023 report. 77%. That is not a career crisis. That is not an HR problem. That is a purpose crisis. Humanity is suffering, not because people lack talent, but because they have never discovered why they were born. I have spent 40 years studying this. And I am here today to tell you something that will change the way you see every Monday morning for the rest of your life. But first, stay with me, because I need to tell you something about Daniel that I am not going to reveal until later in this message. What happened to Daniel when he finally found the answer to one question? It will shift everything you believe about yourself. Let me start right here. Let me redefine a word you think you already know. We have been told that success means achievement, money in the bank, a title on the door, a house in the right neighborhood. But the manufacturer of human life, the one who designed you before you were even conceived, never defined success that way. I want to propose to you today that success is not achievement. Success is the discovery of your purpose and the fulfillment of your destiny. That is where we begin. Let me talk to you about something that controls every human being on this planet. I have reduced the entire drama of human life to 5 questions. 5. And until these 5 questions are answered, not in theory, not in a journal, but settled in your soul, you will never experience the life you were created to live. Write them down. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, where am I from? Number 3, why am I here? Number 4, what can I do? And number 5, where am I going? Now hear me carefully. These 5 questions are not philosophical puzzles for bored academics. These 5 questions are the source of every problem the human race faces. These 5 questions are the source of all the crime in your city, the divorce in your home, the depression in your bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning when you cannot sleep. Every problem, every one of them, is the human being attempting to answer those 5 questions and getting it wrong. Let me ask you something, and I need you to sit with this for a moment. If your salary disappeared tomorrow, if they called you Friday afternoon and said, do not come back Monday, would you still know who you are? Daniel didn't have an answer. The average human is still battling the first question, who am I? You would be shocked at the evidence of this struggle all around you. I'll tell you exactly how you can see it. You wear Michael Jordan. You wear someone else's name on your chest. You follow styles of the day because you have no identity of your own. You want to be like them. You look at other people and try to imitate what they carry because you have not found what you carry. That's not fashion. That's a symptom. The entire fashion industry is built on your lack of self-identity. They feed your confusion by selling you other people's images. And you know it. Some of you have lost your true self. You look like other people. You sound like other people. You adjusted your dreams to look like other people's dreams. And deep in the hidden place of your heart, not the place you show at church, not the face you put on for your co-workers, deep in that quiet place, there is something restless, something that has never been satisfied, something that keeps saying, this is not who I am. This is not where I was going. Let me ask you this. When you were a child, not when they got to you, not after the teachers graded you and the parents redirected you and the culture labeled you, but when you were a child, what did you think you were going to be? What did you see? Because I need you to know something I have discovered after 4 decades of research into why human beings were born. Who you really are is what you thought of first before they convinced you to stop. That's why you are depressed right now. That is why you hate Monday mornings. That is why you sit in traffic feeling like you are going somewhere you are not, because you are. Every Monday morning, Daniel drove to something he was not. And every Monday morning, maybe if you are honest, so do you. Here is what I have learned from human history. You can never know who you are until you find out where you came from. And when I say where you came from, I am not talking about your ethnicity, your neighborhood, your nation. I'm not talking about what passport you carry or what country shaped your accent. The question of where am I from is a question of source. It is a question of heritage that goes beyond any bloodline. And until you trace yourself back to the one who designed you, you will keep borrowing other people's identities to fill the gap. This is not a self-esteem problem. This is a manufacturer problem. You don't know what you are capable of because you have never consulted the one who made you. Principle 1, you were finished before you were born. I want to redefine creation for you today. We've been told that creation means beginning. God created you, and that was the start of your story. But the manufacturer never said that. Listen to me. When God created you, that was not your beginning. You did not begin when God created you. I'll say it again. I did not begin when God created me. And again, one more time. I did not begin when God created me. I was finished before he released me. That is how manufacturing works. No product ever leaves a manufacturing plant until it has been tested. None. They hire people in white coats whose entire job every single day is to take each product off the line and test it, make sure every function works, every feature performs. And when they are absolutely certain the product is complete and capable, they do something. They put their name on it. The manufacturer's image only goes on the product when the product is finished. Go visit the car factory in Detroit. They don't put the name on until the car is complete. Go to Apple. The logo goes on last. Your coat, the tag inside the collar, it goes on when it's finished. Now write this down. The Bible says in Genesis, let us make man, and we will put on him our image. That statement is not an introduction. That statement is the last thing. It is the sign of completion. The image goes on when the product is done. When God put his image on you, it was not your beginning. It was your father's declaration that you were finished. God said to Jeremiah, before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I already knew you. I already set you apart. Before you were conceived, before your parents made a decision, before any doctor signed a birth certificate, before your name was chosen, before your skin touched air, God said, I already tested you. I already knew what you could do. That means your teacher cannot measure you. That means the C you got in 1 week during a semester you were struggling through cannot define your potential. That means the company that didn't hire you does not have access to your full file. No one has access to your full file except the manufacturer. You came to earth because you are finished. Every gift you will ever need, every capacity required to walk out your purpose, it came in the package. You are not an iPad waiting for someone to download your features. You came with everything already installed. The question is not whether the capabilities are there. The question is, are you operating on 10% stop, rewind, pause, play when you were designed for 500 functions? Let me talk to you directly for a second. You have grown old, and I don't mean in years, I mean they got to your mind. When you were a child, you believed everything you thought. You had zero doubt that you could become what you dreamed. Then they started talking to you. Stop being unrealistic. Come back to reality. Stop daydreaming. Just get a job. These were dream killers working on your thinking. And the tragedy is some of them loved you. They were trying to protect you, but they were killing you in the name of safety. Jesus said something so revolutionary, it has shaken me every time I've read it. Except you become as a little child, you cannot enter my kingdom. He is not talking about innocence. He is talking about the capacity to believe the full size of your design. Children do not self-limit. They believe what they see. And what they see, the dream they had before the world got to them, that is the original factory setting. That is the real you. Principle 2, There is a difference between your job and your work. I want to redefine something the whole world is confused about. We've been told that what you do to earn money is your work. That is what the culture says. But the manufacturer of human life never used the word job to describe what he created you to do. Let me say it plainly. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And your job was only ever supposed to be a vehicle to fund your work, not a substitute for it. These are not the same thing. I need you to feel the weight of this. Your job gives you finances. Your work gives you fulfillment. You can be fired from your job. You cannot be fired from your work. Your job is your skill. Your work is your gift. They can take away your job. They cannot take away your work. And here is what nobody told you. When you go to a job that is not your work every Monday morning, the stress it places on your body is doing damage to you. The frustration you carry is not laziness. It is not ingratitude. It is the cry of a human being trapped in someone else's assignment. Have you ever heard someone say, "This job is killing me"? They are telling the truth. The stress of being misassigned will produce high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, and disease. You were not built for misalignment. You were built for purpose. And when you find your work, your real work, it does not drain you. It preserves you. Jesus never called anything he did a job. He said, "I came to do the work of my Father." His job by trade was carpentry in his father Joseph's shop. His work was redeeming the human race. The job was temporary. The work was eternal. That is the pattern. Pattern interrupt. Call back to opening story. And Daniel, you remember Daniel. Daniel spent years confusing the two. He was skilled at his job. He was competent, reliable, even promoted. But every Sunday night, something in him resisted Monday morning. Not because he was lazy, because every Monday he was driving toward a job, and somewhere inside him, untouched, was his work. The thing he was actually born to do. Principle 3, purpose is more powerful than your plans. I want to redefine the word plan for you. We've been told that planning is the foundation of success. Vision boards, business plans, 5-year projections, our culture has made planning into a kind of religion, and I am not against planning. But here is what most people have never been told. Purpose is more powerful than plans. Purpose is more important than plans, and purpose precedes all plans. Proverbs 19:21 says this, "Write it down, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail." Now, 3 things come out of that text. First, purpose is more powerful than plans. How do I know? Because he says it will prevail over your plans. Your plans can fail. Your purpose cannot. Purpose is more important than plans. He says before you even had a plan, he already had a purpose for your life. And purpose precedes plans, meaning your assignment was established before you had the mental capacity to make a single decision about your future. This is the most liberating truth I have ever discovered. God is not waiting for your plan to be perfect before he releases your purpose. God does not start until he is finished. And since he has already finished you, since the blueprint of your life was completed before your first breath, your role is not to construct your destiny. Your role is to discover it. Now that word stand in Proverbs, write it down. It does not merely mean to remain upright. The original meaning is closer to this. Your purpose will frustrate you until you walk in it. You will never be fully satisfied, never fully at peace, never fully alive doing anything other than what you were born to do. Purpose will stand. It will outlast your excuses. It will outlast your fear. It will outlast the dream killers. It will wait for you, and it will keep calling until you answer. I was born one of 11 children in a 2-room wooden house in the poorest village in the Bahamas. Rats ran over my body at night. Mosquitoes ate me alive in that heat. I wore 1 pair of shoes with cardboard stuffed in the holes. My father was a Baptist pastor, and I watched religion fail to lift our circumstances. And standing in that poverty, I made a declaration. I will find my purpose, and no environment will be my ceiling. God is only obligated to finance his own programs. The moment I discovered what his purpose for my life was, I became unstoppable. Not because the obstacles disappeared, but because I finally understood my assignment. No one can keep down a man who knows his purpose. Purpose is like a seed placed in the right environment. You cannot stop it. It will crack concrete to find the sun. Let me close the loop I opened at the beginning. Daniel, at 38 years old, sitting in silence on his commute home one evening, heard a message like this one. And in the middle of that message, someone asked him a question he had been running from for 2 decades. When you were 15, what did you dream? When you were 22, what were you thinking? He pulled the car over. He sat there for a long time. And for the first time in years, he let himself remember. He had wanted to build things, not software, not financial models, actual spaces where communities gathered, where people experienced beauty and found each other. He had wanted to be an architect of places that mattered, but someone told him there was no money in it. Someone told him to be practical. Someone gave him the ladder of someone else's career and said, climb this. And he climbed. And he reached the top. And when he looked around, he was standing on the roof of someone else's building. Here is what I want you to understand. If where you are right now is not what you saw, not what you dreamed before the world got to you, then where you are is temporary. Say it with me. If what I see is not what I saw, then what I see is temporary. That job is not your ceiling. That title is not your identity. That paycheck is not your worth. You are not a social security number. You are not a performance review. You are not the grade they gave you in the 1 week you were having a hard time. You are a finished product of the Most High God, walking through a temporary season on your way to your assignment. Let me ask you something. Do you know the story of David? Samuel the prophet was sent to the house of Jesse. God said, there is a king in this house. Jesse had 12 sons, 12. And he brought them out one by one, tall, handsome, educated, strong, experienced. And the prophet looked at each of them and said, not him, not him, not him. After 11 sons, the father said, that's everyone. And the prophet said, the Lord told me there is a king in this house. And Jesse suddenly remembered there was a boy, the youngest, the dirtiest, the one nobody thought to invite. He was out in the field with the sheep, bow-legged, freckled, smelling like the flock, covered in the kind of life that makes people overlook you. And the prophet turned and looked at that boy, and his hand immediately reached for the oil. Here comes the king. Trapped in a shepherd boy was the king of Israel. And I wonder tonight who is trapped in you. I wonder who is sitting here carrying a king inside them, dismissed by their family, overlooked by their company, forgotten by the people who were supposed to see them. And all this time, God has been saying, bring that one out. There is a king in that house. The enemy of right is not wrong. Satan does not try to get you to do something obviously evil. You are too smart for that. His weapon against you is to get you comfortable in something good so that you never pursue the right thing. That is why you have a job, but you have never found your work. He distracted you with good enough. He gave you a paycheck that quieted the dream. He gave you a promotion that silenced the voice. He got you so busy climbing the right-looking ladder that you never noticed he was leaning against the wrong wall. The moment Daniel stopped climbing, the moment he let himself remember, let himself dream again like a child, everything began to shift. He started with 1 hour a week. He began sketching again. And 6 months later, he was using his weekends to volunteer with a nonprofit designing community spaces in underserved neighborhoods. The job was still there, but it was no longer his identity. It was his temporary transportation. And that changed, that single internal shift, changed the way he walked into his office every morning, because he finally knew the difference between where he was and who he was. Your assignment on Monday morning is this: go to your job and smile. Not because you've arrived, but because you know it is temporary. You are on your way somewhere. God is not surprised by your current address. He is not worried about your current assignment. He already finished you. He is simply waiting for you to find the manual and start reading. Let me give you 3 kingdom habits, not self-help tips, not motivational exercises, but 3 specific actions rooted in the principles I have taught you today. Do these, not someday, starting this week. Kingdom habit 1, recover your childhood vision, 20 minutes this week. Go somewhere quiet, not your car in the work parking lot, not the couch with the television on, somewhere still, and write down in as much detail as you can recover what you dreamed of becoming before the world corrected you. Not what you planned, what you dreamed. Who did you want to be when you were 12 years old? What made you lose track of time? What did you see when you closed your eyes and let yourself believe the impossible? God said, I make known the end from the beginning. He showed you who you were before you were born. Your childhood vision is your factory setting. It is the preview of your purpose. Write it down. Do not edit it. Do not make it practical. Write what you actually saw. This connects directly to principle 1. You were finished before you were born. The vision you carried as a child was not a childish fantasy. It was a transmission from your manufacturer. Kingdom habit 2. Draw the line between your job and your work, 30 minutes this week. Take a sheet of paper. Draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write, my job. On the right side, write, my work. Under my job, list the tasks you perform. For pay the skills you use to generate income today. Under my work, answer this question. What would I be doing if money had nothing to do with the decision? What problem would I solve? What gift would I use? What kind of impact would I create? Most people have never written this down. They have lived in the left column their entire lives and called it success. This exercise will not resolve everything, but it will reveal the gap. And it is the gap that you are called to close. Your job funds your work, but your work is your kingdom assignment. Kingdom habit 3, speak your temporariness daily every Monday morning. This is the most uncomfortable one, and it is the most important. Starting this Monday and every Monday after, before you walk into your workplace, say these words out loud. This is my temporary assignment. I am here on purpose, on my way to purpose. Not to demean what you do, not to be irresponsible, but to anchor your identity where it belongs, not in a title, not in a paycheck, not in someone else's organizational chart. You are a child of the Most High King. Your job does not define you. Your work will. And every morning you remind yourself of that truth. You loosen the grip of misidentification by one more degree. Abraham did not start his kingdom assignment until he was 75. If Abraham has not disqualified you, neither has your age or your current circumstance. Purpose is not found at the end of a 5-step plan. Purpose is revealed as you refuse to accept the lie that what you currently see is who you ultimately are. Start somewhere. Start small. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not look for the big break, make the first move. Then trust God to finance what He assigned. God is only obligated to finance His own programs. Find His program, step into it, and watch what He does. Daniel still drives to work on Monday mornings, but something is different. He still sits in traffic, but the silence is not the same silence. It is the silence of a man who finally knows who he is. 1 year after that roadside moment, he presented his first community design proposal to a city council that had never heard his name before. He sat before those officials bow-legged and freckled with conviction, and he laid before them what he saw, and they funded it. Not because he was perfect, because he had found his work. I am here tonight to pour oil on your head, not because of who your parents thought you were, not because of what your last performance review said, not because of the grade they gave you in the week you were falling apart. I am here because God told me there is a king in this room. There is a queen sitting in this room. There is a person watching this right now who has been in the field too long, dirty, from the work of being underestimated, smelling like someone else's definition of you, and God is saying, bring that one out. That is the one I have chosen. Let me leave you with this truth, and I want you to hear it at every level. You were not made for a job. You were not made for a job, you were made for a purpose. You were not made for a job, you were made for a purpose that your job was never supposed to replace. You won the race to life. Out of everything that competed for the opportunity to exist, you were chosen. You did not survive to settle. You survived to manifest the full weight of what God finished in you before the foundation of the world. Do not carry that to the cemetery. If this message touched something in you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more messages that refuse to let you settle. And if you have never asked God to reveal your purpose, start right now, right where you are. The manufacturer knows every function he installed. Ask him to show you the manual. There are books in you unwritten, companies in you unbuilt, schools in you unfounded, music in you unplayed. Start. Do not look for employment, look for deployment. You are already finished.